Hey everyone, what's up? It's the Emperor Pro here, and today I would like to talk to you guys about port towns. Port towns are mostly encountered by the player when they need to take some sort of a journey across sea, like by boat or something similar, and a great port can be a really fun experience for the player. First thing I'd like to talk about is what they're for. Now, as I said, we have a port town for getting across the sea, of course, talking to someone who owns a boat or something similar to that. But that's not all that it should be used for. A port town should also help to prepare the player for the journey ahead. This can be done by implementing a number of different types of shops, such as your standard item shop, maybe a food shop, definitely weapons and armors. You want to provide the player with potentially the best armor available at that playtime, but you also might want to make it like a little bit expensive because, well, one, port towns are pretty extremely popular, and in real life you would imagine people would probably take advantage of the capitalism potential here, but you also want to kind of give the player a reason to maybe decide, hey, let's just stay around here for a little bit more, get some more money, then maybe we can get this awesome armor. It's really going to help us out later. If you throw some kind of like higher level equipment at the player, every time you do that, the player gets a sort of sense that's like telling them, oh crap, maybe I should really get this because I don't know, now I suddenly have a bad feeling like something dangerous is ahead, so I feel like I'm gonna need this. That's definitely one of the emotions that you want to give your player. Next thing I want to talk about is good practices. What I mean by this is, when you make your port towns, you don't really want to make them bland, but you don't want to go over the top either. And of course, that's more like the eye of the beholder kind of thing, but for the most part, though, you don't want to have, like, no villagers, for example, or, like, very, very, very little stuff to interact with, or to visually enjoy. Take, for example, this little map here, made in RPG Maker XP. You can see how we have a bunch of wildlife that kind of like catches the player's eye the moment they come in. There are birds that fly away from you. There's one or two birds that kind of just fly at random. There's random butterflies around. There's animation in the sea as well. Like I actually used a butterfly animation and then like gave it a sort of blend filter to kind of make it look like there's something like some kind of fish or something's playing in the water. And I have clouds that scroll by, and when you start, you have like these big seagulls that kind of fly by and then fade out. Some of them at different speeds as well. Small details like this can catch your player's attention, and it just improves the overall enjoyment, which is the third topic that I want to talk about. If you can think of any minigame ideas, throw those in there as well. You want the player to hang out around the port town. You don't want them to stay there for like, an extended period of time, but you want stuff the player can enjoy. Like, you don't just want it to be like your standard regular town that you go in, you shop, you maybe sleep at the inn, and then you book it, you take off. Or maybe, like another standard town sample would be, hey, can you go like slay this goblin thing? It's attacking my village, or something similar. But yeah, if you can have forms of interaction, maybe mini games, like I said earlier, definitely go for that. A good mini game for a port town, for example, could be fishing. Maybe there's like, if you do have fishing in your game, then maybe you can include some kind of rare fish that's only available at that spot, for example. And that would give the player incentive to kind of want to hang out there a little bit more, and it'll just make it more fun. Gives the player more things to do, which is kind of what it really all boils down to. Port towns should have, well, fish. As you can see, there are, in some of these houses, they're on the roof. You can see I have like these little things set up to where they're like catching fish and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, definitely keep with the theme as well. Overall, the last tip that I can give is, since it is a port town, you might want to have the entire town kind of on the water as well. Not necessarily like, you don't have to have like the entire town built in water, but yeah, it helps to kind of give that feel if the ground that you're walking on is slightly elevated above the water. Yeah, it just helps to kind of set the fact that it's a port town. And that's about all the tips I have for this one. Thank you guys so very much for watching. If you can, click that join button. It'll help motivate me to continue to make more videos like these. Thank you guys. See you later.